see. Okay, well, my mic was off. So we're back to this creepy scene again. God, look at that. Even her mouth is twitching. Look at that. That's detail. This isn't a prank. I saw something. Oh yeah. You already said that.
See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys. It's not a joke. Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Last night, at the party.
But it's real! What do you think I saw? It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
That woman.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Shit. If that's what Isabella has been warning us about, if it's the same ghost Rebecca talked about last night, or what Zach told me about a few days prior, how many of these instances have I dismissed since reading that letter? How many have I passed off because of fatigue or lack of sleep? Even last night, hallucinogen lacing the food was the first thing I considered as the culprit for what I seen. Purely because that's what my training dictates. It's what I'm grown used to. It's the setting the gears in my head automatically take in a situation like that. Of course, in spite of these suspicions, I'm not discounting all of that yet until I have enough information. Something to form a conclusion, proof, and whatever for it may come. But thinking straight is impossible when all of a sudden, all your beliefs are being upturned in the most violent way possible at that. Cognitive dissonance at its finest. Jesus, I need a sounding board. I need to talk to someone, and Zach's the best person for that.
I have to go, Professor. I'm really sorry to cut this call short.
Oh, no problem. But what are you...
I don't have time to say any more than that. No time to stop and listen to what the professor has to say as I cut the call short. In the same second, Isabella emerges from her apartment fully dressed and ready for the day. As usual, she greets me with a smile, but it falls just as fast once she catches a glimpse of my face. Shame. That would have been the first comforting thing I see today. It annoys me I'm particularly responsible for the worried line replacing it. I have no idea how I appear to her right now. Must be close to a picture of someone choking or dying because there's nothing but concern in the first words she speaks.
Ash, are you... Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Ha!
Yeah, no, I don't, okay? But we should hurry. Come on, don't forget to lock your door.
Seriously, you look like you're about to fall over. Are you alright? Because if you're planning to faint right here, I won't be able to carry you.
Yes, don't mind me. I just remembered some stuff from last night. I need to talk to Z-Man about this. Mind if we drop by his place first?
Shouldn't we call him? To let him know? It's still pretty early, though we'd probably arrive there around noon. Also, what do you mean about this? Is Zach...
He was also there when I opened the letter, right? He read it too. I'm sure he's fine, but it wouldn't hurt to check on him. To make sure. See if he'll say the same things you told me yesterday.
If he's also been seeing things, if it's also the same woman I saw last night.
I'm not saying there's really a curse yet, but we have to look at this from every possible angle. And don't worry, he won't mind. He's probably just watching TV right now. Let's go.
Okay, but speak up if you're not feeling well. You really look like you're choking on something. You didn't have to do this for me in the first place.
You know it's not as simple as that.
We head down to my car in record time, not a single second wasted to hit the road and drive to Zach's place. If any one of us, other than Isabella, who knows anything about what's going on, who can help sort the muddled mess my mind is, it's got to be him. He listened to her. Zach's the kind who prefers to laze around his apartment on a weekend, especially after having a busy day like the last one. The big guy's nowhere in sight though when I arrive in his unit. Figures, people don't seem to be where they should be when I need him. For it to happen now, of all times, it frustrates me. I can see why Inspector Abigail and Rebecca sometimes tell me that I have a temper. Though I always tell the latter that it isn't as bad as her fiery streaks. Looking around, I find no sign where he might have gone to. He usually leaves a note on his fridge if he's out for the day, just in case someone drops by. I hope. Maybe he ran out of eggs or something and went out to buy some. Oh yeah, this is where he went out to the mansion. He is out of eggs, after all. A peek into his fridge confirms this, and it puts my running mind to rest for a while. He always has to have some, be it for an omelet or something he's baking. The guy always has a baker's dozen.
Ash, should you be rummaging around?
Yes! Why are you whispering? He is not here.
It's bad enough we went in here without asking for his permission.
Chill, I'm just looking.
Actually, I can also go for a fucking pie right now. But Zach's fridge is next to empty, save for a few leftovers from last night's dinner. All I can do is sigh as I close it behind me.
If you see me take anything, feel free to call the police.
Isabel is quick to shoot me a sharp glare, and another chuckle slips from me for all this unease in my stomach. Nevertheless, the cheer only lasts no longer than a second, mostly because... oh, my eyes. She hasn't been in the mood of any sort of friendly banter. It's the silence that's telling, and a quiet Isabella. It's usually the first recipe for incoming shitstorm.
Do you always do this whenever you visit another person's house? Because I have a lot of questions about your methods.
Just with Zach.
I'm still worried for my friend, of course, and regardless of what's bothering Isabella, she's anxious too. She's been standing by the doorway for a few good minutes now, since we entered Zach's place. In fact, doesn't seem to know what to do with herself. But much as I want to ease this disquiet in her, her nervous tics are starting to get to me. The manner in which she makes herself smaller, the way she fidgets with her hands, clamping them one moment and unfurling in the next. It's distracting in a way that I badly want to ask what's wrong. I doubt she'll give me a straight answer though, and the best I can do is suggest ways to help her temper it, albeit discreetly.
You don't have to hang around the door. We might be here for a while. You can sit down.
She hesitates for a second, but after a brief internal battle with herself, she soon takes the empty seat by Zach's study table.
Aren't we going to look for him?
Sure, we can, but where are we going to start? I can think of a few places he might be, but Luxburn's a big city. I don't want to miss the big guy if we leave, and...
I trail off, making a vague gesture in the general direction of Zach's bed. The messy bed suggests he was out in a hurry. He didn't even bother to fold the sheets. His cell phone's been left behind as well. Oh! Another odd thing, when he has made it a habit to never leave it behind in case a client calls.
At least the locked door points to the fact that it wasn't a forced exit. We can take comfort in that.
That seems to reassure her, but not so much. Understandable. Anything might happen, and completely letting our guard down is out of the question. in hindsight, we shouldn't have left Rebecca alone too. We'll have to check on her later. In the meantime, there's Zack to worry about. But with no other clue where he is, without his phone with him, we have no choice but to wait. Sure, I can give the room another thorough run through, but I don't think Zack will appreciate me upending his place. Isabella won't let me do that either. Besides, before I could think of snooping about even more, my stomach crawls, reminding me I haven't eaten anything yet today. Isabella probably hasn't too. We were in a hurry. Might as well take this chance to cool down a bit, right? Anything to distract us, myself especially, so that I don't just charge headfirst because of whatever paranoia scheme comes to mind. I have another person with me right now. I can't be reckless. Ha! Yang. Returning to the kitchen, the first thing I see is a bag of chips when I rifle through his cupboards. After muttering a permission and an apology its owner won't hear, I grab it. Isabella doesn't miss shooting me another glower, though she doesn't really make an effort to stop me this time. My offer of food has been completely ignored meanwhile. So instead, I set myself on Zack's old couch and turn on the television. Her silence may not be too heavy, but it sure as hell is awkward. The screen lights up right as some awful noontime drama starts airing on the Channel 9. Nothing like sitting in front of a TV with a mindless drone running in the background to waste away the time. And waste it away we do. The afternoon has hit its last few hours when movement comes from the other side of the door, and Zack's heavy treads breaks the monotonous drivel from the TV. The lock clicks, the knob turns, and slowly it swings open to reveal a very exhausted looking Zack. What? Did he run a marathon?
Sup, Z-Man?
Hey, Zack. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Light as my tone might be, his arrival eases the restless edge in me. Who knows what I would have done if something bad has happened to one of my friends. Hearing his exaggerated response is a relief too. If another minute has gone by without him showing up, I might resort to unconventional methods. Thankfully, it doesn't have to come to that.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And hey, is that my...
It's scary how the friendly banter and easy smile come naturally. I do it, even without thinking, and that speaks volumes about how comfortable I am around him. That's nice, isn't it? What makes me afraid of it, however, is the idea that a time might come where I might just do these on autopilot around him, without even meaning to, offend him in some way. The friendship we have might be closer than most I've shared with others, but there are boundaries you can't cross without the other's permission. Zack's been respectful of that so far, neither asking about my parents or what happened to them. Me? I'll bet he'll say not so much. It's also this easy banter that makes me wish we can just stay like this. No worries, no problems, just potato chips and the debate on whether or not I deserve them. But as usual, something always cut moments like this short, be it another, more important business, or a sudden, unintentional shift in the mood.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zack.
Really? But it's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Her tone forces him to do a double take. Needless to say, despite noticing how strange Isabella's acting, Zack doesn't push it. The question is all too clear in his eyes when he glances my way, though I wish I can answer him. A shrug is really the only thing I'm able to give. During the entire ride here, Isabella's been unforthcoming as well. What am I supposed to do? I can't just force her to speak, can I? She's not a criminal to being interrogated. She's a friend, for Pete's sake. I'm 101% sure she'll snap at me if I pressure her. It's a good thing Zack has a better handle of the situation than I, and soon enough, he changes the subject. Where it leads to isn't necessarily the better topic, however.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zack. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She trails off, stumbling into one of her uncertain silences again, before glancing my way. There's a plea in there for me to take the front in this. Because despite wanting to hear Zack's answers herself, Isabella's unease vibe still reverberates throughout the room. Palpable, however, wordless she stays. Where do we start? The mansion? The strange things we've been seeing? The letter? If anything, this simply feels like waiting for the inevitable to fall. Even I am afraid of what might he say. Her concerns are definitely not unexpected either. I'm sure she blames herself for this. Even if I'm equally as responsible for not listening to her pleas, for opening that letter. On the off chance there's a truth to the curse, this is my mess as much as it is hers. That much I can state with complete sincerity, or certainty. If it'll be enough to lessen her worries, I'm no longer sure. I can't even believe I'm considering a deeper look into this whole thing in the first place, but here I am.
No, you're right. There really are some odd things going on here lately.
How is everything with you lately, Zack?
Hold on, Ash. Both of you. Did I just hear you say that? Is this why Isabella's here? Has something happened?
Calm down, we're just here to check on things. So, did you meet Andrew about the photos?
What photographs?
Unlike when he brought up the subject of the photos with me, he doesn't hesitate when Isabella asks for it. Zack hastily fishes them out of a nearby drawer and hands it to her without delay. I can almost see it in him. The second hindsight kicks in, and the realization that she would have been a better listener than I. Makes sense, when all I've been doing until this morning is call it a Halloween prank. She goes through each of the prints in silence, her shoulders growing stiffer by the second until she has gone rigid and pale. But it is the telling glances they exchange afterwards that speak volumes of the things running inside their minds.
What did Andrew say about them?
It could be one, but there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen, so that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all? Did you ask him even?
As expected, Zack starts to look at me like I've grown a second head. Yeah, I will too, if there's ever a universe where I'm standing in front of myself. Give him a piece of my mind. Insist the rumors surrounding the mansion are nothing but tales, and whatever happened to Isabella, whatever's happening lately, likely has a logical, more grounded explanation. Because yes, I am a skeptic. Even as a child, I never believed in ghost stories. The lucky charms and mystical objects from my mother have often been stored away or given as pantry gifts to those who will appreciate them more.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on.
Do we all kill Luke? Is that what it would be?
Kinda nasty if you ask me, but it does make sense if you simply go along with it. I'm not sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zack. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
The fact that I'm even considering this is crazy. When every time Isabella has talked about her country's silly superstitions, I'll just brush it off. Point out every inaccuracy I can see until it's all but exhausted. Granted, I haven't eliminated every single possibility here yet, but what else is there to go off on from here? I tried to stamp down the annoyance from the thought alone. The worried look Zack shoots my way doesn't help one bit in helping me gather my thoughts either, when that's what I came here for. Somehow, everyone's suddenly just so worried about me. Isabella, Rebecca, the professor, and Zack. It's not like I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
And along with Isabella's warnings, what's occurring around Zack, what's happening around Luxborn since Isabella has found the letter.
Have you two seen the news this morning?
Zack's puzzled expression is enough answer. Of course he hasn't. Another night, another nightmare. The guy most likely went out as soon as he got out of bed to shake the images off. The memories have never really left him. Isabella, though.
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
Those words can easily mean anything. From another good news to one not quite pleasant. The latter, most probably, considering the bleak mood she's been carrying since morning. The question is, how bad exactly is it this time? Did her, Kuya, her older brother, end up in jail again? She's had to bail him out numerous times in the past. Though all that did is piss her off every time, not sap every ounce of cheer out of her. Or is it that the other brother, the younger one, who's insisting he quit school so she could come home? That was 2 years ago. As far as I know, she has already sorted that one out. It couldn't have been her father, right? With the mansion sale, she has earned enough to cover every bill for a while. It should. So what is it then? But
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
whatever her troubles are right now, I doubt it's something meant for casual discussion, else she would have mentioned it earlier. Tucking my curiosity for later, I take the remote and begin cycling through the channels. A distraction, not a good one I admit, but better than leaving her to wallow in her dark mood. Eventually, I find one, doing a recap of this morning's reports. And there it is. The poor guy is undefiniable with how badly his body's been burnt. Murder via arson? That's the logical explanation if I'm the officer looking into it. Except, they can't find the source of the fire. The fire didn't even spread.
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxborn police.
They're going to consider spontaneous human combustion soon enough if they don't find anything else. But what's important for everyone to know is the state of the room. Help me repeatedly scrawling around the place.
A similar writing was found in another victim's room from last week's incident. Both were employees of Briar Realty Corporation. LBN has reached out to the...
Like what happened to Cooper. Hell, I wonder how many other deaths I missed. How many crime scenes had ended up in a similar state while I've been looking into Wright. The LPD's already thinking it's a serial killer at this point. How long until they consult with the London Metropolitan? I'm not sure. The Anselm Butcher has always been an enigma, even to the people of the city. Gone for a few years, then in the next, one body after another is found. Merely handling the case has apparently driven the chief inspector insane years ago. He never did find out who committed those murders. Maybe now, this time.
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
They all come out, a whisper. Her voice, her words, but each syllable lingers in the air, heavy with her guilt. All laid bare in this one moment of weakness. In the thick tension of the room, they strike harsher than any of the things we said. She has to understand, she has to know, that she isn't the only one on this. No one has asked her to take this upon herself. Rebecca won't. Zach won't. I sure as hell won't.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this. I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Encouragements aside, this is still a whole fucking mess, and we're in it blind. The only way to make it worse is if we start running around like a bunch of headless chickens. But I have a concrete plan now. Aside from those writings, there's another thing linking most, if not all, of those victims. The latter, I'll still have to look deeper into, of course. However, this little detail has been bothering me after the second publicized death. Most of the victims are employees of the same company before their untimely deaths. Briar Realty Corporation. Inconsequential when one looks at the grand scheme of things, but maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to find something there. Maybe Isabel's right. Maybe she has a point in suggesting we dig deeper into BRC itself. Maybe we are looking at it the wrong way. After all, despite the public inquiries, the company has been quite suspicious, about the incidents. No matter where one looks at it, everything they're doing screams fishy. Not just with the fast sale of the mansion. This entire time, I've been ignoring it and treating it as a separate matter. But what if? I don't mention all of this to Zach, of course. My suspicions are mine for the moment. The details are something he doesn't need to know until I have something to show. It's enough that he's aware I have an idea in mind. For his part, Zach doesn't push it, and nothing but heavy silence leads my departure hours later. So, I have a pretty good idea. Well, not really. I just think BRC is maybe sacrificing the people from their company. I don't know. Maybe they are hiding something, or maybe they're a cult feeding a sacrifice to the house lady. I don't know. Though, from the looks of it, he has a plan of his own too. This, despite my insistence for him to stay put. Oh, right. He didn't go to the house yet. He was out in the park. Zack always means well, but I'll worry less if he's not moving about without my knowledge. There are so many unknown variables at play here already. Hell, I'm still apprehensive about letting Isabella tag along, though she insisted. And I know, despite myself, that she can help get me what I need faster than rashly snooping about alone. It also goes to say she'll be safer when she's with me.
This is a really big one, and I'll be damned if I let anything happen to you guys while I sit here. I'm done running when things get tough.
Which doesn't particularly excite me, if I'm going to be honest. I trust him to be reasonable. What I don't trust is the uncertainty that we aren't simply jumping out of a frying pan and into the fire.
Look, bro, if things ain't good, I'll be the first one out. But allow me this one thing, aight? Just this one time. If it doesn't work out, you'll be the first one to know. You can laugh then, or berate me all you want. But please don't ask me to step aside like I'm incapable of doing anything to help.
Anyway, what can I do? Short of cuffing him, which will present problems of its own and leave him terribly vulnerable. It's not like I can keep him leashed. He's an adult, a man of his own. I just hope this whole thing doesn't get any more faux bar than it already is.
Alright, stay safe, Zack.
I want to say more than that, but I don't want to state the obvious. Zack's not an idiot. He knows, I mean more. He knows not to run into things recklessly a lot more than I do. He knows to keep his lines of communication open, always ready to call for help when he needs it. And he knows not to get in over his head. Seriously, he'll probably make a more responsible police officer than me if he only has the heart to join the force. We certainly can use more kind people like him. Though as good as the thought is, I push all of it into the back of my mind as I step out on the onto the pavement and join Isabella in my car. Tonight, I can't stay distracted. Except for a few half-hearted attempts at getting some kind of reaction from Isabella, the drive to BRC is a quiet, awkward affair. More so the hour-long wait for nightfall in an adjacent car park. Even with only the two of us, without any suspicious bystanders loitering the vicinity, the place is rife with tense energy. Only a matter of minutes now. Nevertheless, the ticking seconds do not take away the edge, and for the 5th time since we arrived, I reach out and fiddle with the radio, adjusting and turning the knobs with no real purpose. It's a nervous quirk I developed and never bothered to correct during stakeouts. With the lack of a friendly conversation to distract, I have nothing else to keep my mind occupied. What else is there for me to do? The person I can usually count on for a casual, out-of-the-blue chat refuses my attempts at starting one and remains stubbornly taciturn.
Ash, out with it! If you have something to say.
The way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes though, it makes me doubt if she really means everything she's telling me right now. She hasn't even glanced my way since our wait has waited.
Having second thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Dunno? You can get in trouble maybe. This isn't exactly legal.
Scope BRC out. See if the real estate company has any more information that may be of help. That's the plan. There still might be some logical explanation, a human element behind this. Or it is a curse. Nothing's certain at this point in time. The only way to find out is to investigate. Things about Cooper. Things about the other agents assigned to the Ermengarde mansion. According to Isabella, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Sure, I can also check the station for full reports, see if I might find something new, or if someone else has caught anything that had slipped my notice. That's the easy, semi-legal way, but I don't want to bump into Chief right now. The guys at the precinct will definitely throw me out as soon as they see me on his orders. Someone else has probably filed it under the Luke Wright case too, for further inspection. I'm not the only one working on it, after all, and those are off limits to me now. Yeah, no matter what authority I'll hold, I'll have to break into my own precinct if I want to so much as to take a peek at anything. Not that my plan right now is any better, I'm just breaking into a different place, more or less, with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will, especially if this might put her in a very tricky position afterwards. She's been very careful when it comes to her work. Almost a model employee, as people would say. Wonder why she's throwing caution to the wind now.
I'm not an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff. Only people like you are privy to.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way. Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or into the Wright's mansion. News of BRC's downsizing and rumors that might be going under isn't exactly restricted info. Even someone of Isabella's position within their company is aware of that. If that's the case, I'll have an easier time getting in here first. After all, why would someone want to break into a realty company? Been here many times before anyway, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug Scaredy Cat. Over the years, I've more or less grown familiar with their security setup and how badly staffed their personnel is. Plus, it's an old building, means their access protocols are old, if not outdated.
Still, I can do this on my own, you know.
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
Well, I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
Yeah, you're helping me with this. Willingly. I don't think that'll sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out.
Low blow, I know. But swaying her is worth a shot while she can still turn back. It's not like I don't have any means to get into the place unnoticed. With or without her, I have a way.
At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You?
For a passing second, it seems to work. A hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks to me with searching eyes. Then, unexpectedly, it dissolves. Not behind the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath the telltale gleam of steel and iron. I'm not sure what she sees exactly, or what she's hoping to find in the short while she holds my gaze. All of it merely goes unspoken, and no longer than a minute later, she simply averts her attention back to the window, training it once again at some point outside.
Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
An appeal, spoken in a voice too harsh coming from her. Perhaps unintentional, perhaps one that's already too exhausted of everything of everything going on lately. It's hard not to concede when she takes on that tone, and soon, despite myself, I sigh, tucking away every concern I've been lugging around, in favor of trusting her on this, according her the same confidence she has implicitly given me all this time.
Alright, okay, if that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I won't let anything happen to you.
Her lips briefly turn up in a smile, though none of the cheer it's meant to express reaches her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
A fleeting exchange, but somehow, the uncertainty in her posture makes me wonder if she intended it as some kind of comforting gesture. For me, or for her, she derives me of the opening to find out. Immediately, without saying another word, she exits the car while I'm left scrambling and chasing after her. She's already at the side entrance, a hand raised on the car reader beside it, and another posed to push the door open when I catch up to her. Whatever doubt there has been in her face a while ago, it's gone. Concealed, hidden neatly away during the short walk between the building's entrance and the car park. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded, that things might go smoothly this time. Except nothing ever does, and short of stepping into the building's lobby, a different voice blasts from the nearby intercom, gruff, still rough with sleep. A man, likely in his late 40s to early 50s, speaks from the other line. Possibly the guard currently assigned to the night shift.
And where do you think you kids are going? It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
He seems friendly enough, though one can't really tell from his voice alone. He might be the wary sort, for all I know. Keeping an unconcerned face and a luff air won't hurt until I figured how to wiggle us out of the situation.
Just come back on Monday if you have important business.
But from the way Isabella's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a task. She appears familiar with him. He's probably been working here for a few months already then. I'll give it about 4 to 6 months max. Otherwise, he wouldn't recognize Isabella or me at first glance. I haven't shown my face here since I've been assigned to the firm case a year ago. In the first place, none of their security officers ever lasted a year in service. The longest was around 7.5. I'll give this guy around that before he gets fired or finds a better paying job. For the moment, his too friendly attitude is almost a gift.
Hey, Seb!
Oh, look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Close enough!
Wait, don't tell me yet. I'll get it right this time. Sanchez!
You were closer the first time?
Drat. I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
I take it back. This geezer's not going to last past this month. He can't even remember a regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time.
Centillon?
Still a ways off, Seb.
Isabella, we don't have all night.
I know, just let me handle this. Sorry, Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry. I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good. Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.